Welcome to Earground once again. New voices amplified. My name is King Boaz, and today on the show we have the writer, of course, by the name Monica. I will allow her to introduce herself. Monica, maybe if you can tell us briefly, who are you?
Hello, Ngabuto. My name is Vongai Monica Mujakachi. I'm 21 years old. I was born in Kutu and bred in Bulawayo. I was born in a family of 5, and I'm the firstborn. I did my primary school at Mkhali Primary School and my high school at Tinyanda High School. I'm an author and I'm a poet.
All right. Yeah. So you were born in all, you managed to live in these different places in Kutu, in Bulawayo, Mkhali, which is one township which is away from your place, the place which is where you did your high school in Inyanda, which is in Luveve. Maybe in all this, maybe can you remember, or maybe if you can tell us what was the fondest memory of your childhood?
The fondest memory of my childhood, it was with my brother. We had gone to the rural areas for a holiday and to our grandmother. So I remember this one afternoon, we took some clothes and we cut them into pieces and we tied them on our heads and we're acting as if we're niggers and we started singing songs and dancing. So that memory is still like stuck in my mind still now. Yeah.
All right. I hope you are no longer cutting clothes.
No. Now I'm not cutting clothes. No, I'm not.
All right. You are so specific in defining when you started writing. You say you started writing when you were 13. Did this become more of a process when this started, when you came to the point where you said, I'm starting to write now? And if so, what happened?
Okay. So this is what happened. I was doing my grade 5 and my father paid for me to join the library, right? So I started going to the library and reading books. So I discovered that I loved reading books, and my favorites were pesetas. I would read Shona books, I would read Ndebele books, I would read English books. So by reading, I also discovered that I had this passion to write. I also wanted people to go to the library and find my books there and take my books and read. So this is how it all started.
All right. So do you remember the first thing that you wrote, and what was it? Was it a book? Was it a poem? Was it a letter to a guy that you're crushing?
No. Okay. The first thing that I wrote was a poem. I still remember there were 12 poems, and I still remember the book which I wrote them. But the first poem was education. Now I was in primary, so the first poem was education. So I was just pointing out the importance of education, that it makes the wise wiser and the fools more foolish. Without it, you're like guns without bullets, and so forth. So that was my very first poem.
All right. It's a debate for another day.
I know.
Is overrated. But anyway, let's pass that and then we go to Enyanda High School. While Enyanda, so many things happened there, and one of the things is that you were nominated to be a head girl. Maybe if you can tell us how this came about, because I always wonder, what do they use when they are choosing head girl, head boys? Do they use the tallest girl in class? What do they use? Is there a test? What's the process of
up to now, to be frank, I do not even know what they use, because I remember before I was chosen to be the head girl, we were doing our lower 6, right? So they were saying people were supposed to choose the people they wanted to be head boy, head girl, deputy. And in my class, they selected me to be the deputy. And I remember declining the offer, saying, "Ah, no, I cannot." And my friends and a lot of people in my class were not happy about that. But then I told myself I'm not going to have any position at school. And then it happened that we were at this assembly point. It was on the closing day, and people were going to be told who is going to be the head boy, the head girl. And I was so happy. I was also curious. I wasn't even thinking that, because I told myself I have declined the offer. So I'm not a prefect. I'm not a head girl. I'm just a student. And then I had my name being called. I was surprised as well. I really was surprised. So that was how I was nominated. And
all right. From that experience, maybe do you remember any lessons that you learned from that experience and that you're still applying in your life
now? The lessons that I learned from my experience as a head girl.
Yes.
The lessons that I learned were to be humble and not to abuse whatever position that you have. And also that because you're a head girl doesn't mean that you have to step on everyone. You can still be yourself and have friends and get along with people. So I really enjoyed it, and you should be approachable. You should be friendly. So this is what I learned, and I'm still applying in my life and still really working. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. While you were at Nyanda, you wrote your first book, which is the Songs of Life. You didn't have much life at this point. I wonder what you got through in life that inspired this book. Maybe if you could break it down and maybe let us in on what this book was about.
All right. So I always say that it's not about what you go through personally. It's also about what you observe around you, what you see. Of course, what you can see or the situations you see, you cannot really understand them like a person who is in them, but you can really learn or pick a few things. So what happened with Songs of Life is that, remember, I started writing in primary. So some of the poems which I wrote in the at primary level, I call them the first 12. Right? Okay. I carried them to that book, Songs of Life. They were part of that book, and I'm happy about it. My primary teacher was the first person, Mrs. Esbanda, to edit those poems. So when I was saying Songs of Life, I was likening life to songs, right? Okay. In songs with music, we've got different songs. We've got the songs that you listen when you're happy, when you're sad. We've got different types of music. So I was saying life is like that. We have phases whereby we are happy. We have phases whereby we're sad. We have different things that we come across. So with Songs of Life, it touches on issues that we come across as people in life. And with even the cover, you could see it. There is a small child, and then the boy grows, goes to school, gets married, starts working, gets married, and is an old man. So that's how I'm saying with life. I'm saying the experiences are different. The experience that child faces and the old man faces, and they are just so different. So I was touching on issues like a girl child being maybe raped by the father, or mother neglecting their child, the youngsters abusing drugs, and the blesser kind of thing. So these were the situations and issues that I was touching on the book. Yeah.
All right. And then you went on to write many other books and worked with quite a different number of people. But maybe I cannot ask about all the books that you've done. But maybe if you can tell us more about the book Road of Hearts. Was this now a love story? Because when you see heart, usually it's a love.
It's love. Yes, yes. Okay, so with A Road of Hearts, as it's just, you can hear from the title Heart. So this is an anthology of love poems, right? Yes. So what I noticed about love is that as people, we read those love novels, we watch love movies, it's all sweet and all that. But whereas in reality, it's not like that. It's not a bed of roses, right? In love, there is deception, there is betrayal, there is loyalty, there is heartbreaks, there is headaches, and all that. So in my book, I was touching on, the sweet moments and then the bitter, moments, and so I was touching on it all, right? So yeah, that's what the anthology is about. So I was
All right.
thinking about the different
If we had time,
perspectives.
we go through one poem from all the poems that we don't. So we will try and pick some of your poems at the end and look at those. Yeah. And then you went on to have to be part of a book that is now part of the UZ adopted as part of the set book. Maybe if you can tell us more about this anthology of poetry and what is it about?
Okay, so it's the title is The Shadow That Slumbers My Life. It's just talking about different things that a person goes through, which can be obstacles in life, in a person's life, right? So this is that's what the anthology mostly touches on. And I was part of that anthology. I contributed by writing the foreword for that anthology. Then there was the publisher, Samantha Nunu, and then the person who did the cover for the book, Atkins. So, yeah.
All right. On these poems that became a part of the UZ, what is special about this book? What do they dwell on? What is the subject matter in this project?
What I noticed when I was going through this book is that it touches on our society, right? The things which are happening in our society, how people are getting along, the changes which are happening. So it acts as a mirror. It mirrors out what is happening in our society, and then it's that's what it does. Then it goes on to tackle. So that's what the poet was doing. He was touching on those issues, and some issues he's not really happy about them, right? So that's what the book is really about.
All right. So having worked with different people in your career, starting from when you were 13 to where you are now, having published all these books, having written hundreds of poems, is there a person or maybe people that will say these are people who stand out in crafting or in molding me to be the poet and the person that I am today?
Definitely. I am where I am because of people. And to be frank, there are many. I mean, we can even take hours and hours. So I'm just going to mention, but trust me, there are many. And for those I will not mention, bear with me. There are just so many. So first of all, it's my parents. I'm just so grateful because they support me and they really appreciate my work. And then I go on to my publishers, those who have published my books, right? Mr. Klesha Kumalo, Samantha Nunu, and I go to my teacher, Miss S. Vanda, for encouraging me. And I go to my high school teacher, Mr. Mate, for encouraging me and making sure that I was aware of the platforms where I can showcase my work. I was part of associations which could make me grow, right? And then I've got my friends, and there's just so many. So these are the people that I really like to appreciate. And then the ZANA Association, yes.
All right, yeah, we will come to the ZANA Association just now, but maybe if before we get to talk about ZANA, you spoke about education, which is something that you were passionate about, which is something that you were ready to say, to advocate that every child or everyone gets to be educated. But then, as a writer, is there a platform that prepares kids from primary or secondary to be writers after during the school? Is there a platform that develops them to be better writers, and how does this go? Because we know, for example, if you are in the science class, you'll be studying science from January to December, then when you finish, you will go to maybe study something that is science related, if that is your passion. So what happens to writers?
With writers, what I've noticed, okay, I'll talk about my school because I'm not sure of other schools, but my school had those platforms. We had public speakers and debate club. We had a writers club whereby we would meet and we would write, right? But that's how it was. But my main issue usually when it comes to this is mostly with parents, right? That's where my main issue is with, because they do not encourage children, they do not support the passions that children have apart from education, apart from going to school and doing the subject. Anything which is extra than that, they do not support. They're like, you're wasting time, you should be reading your books, you're busy with poetry, you're busy with writing, and all that. So that's where my main issue with parents. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And then you worked with ZANA, and what is ZANA? What does ZANA stand for? What's their contribution into the writing sector in Zimbabwe?
Okay, so ZANA stands for Zimbabwe Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association. So this is an association whereby writers get to meet every month. We meet as writers, upcoming writers, and those who are legends, right, when it comes to writing. So this association, it helps those, it helps by inspiring those who are the upcoming writers that you can do it. I mean, if you go to the meeting and you see someone holding their book and you want to also have a book, you're inspired that I can do it as well. And then as writers, we share ideas. How do we go about writing? How do I end up having my book? How do I market my book? We talk about self-publishing. And in the organization, we've got people, we've got different careers, we've got teachers, we've got those who are in the Ministry of Education, we've got our publishers. So it's very easy, especially if you want your book to be adopted in the curriculum. We've got the teachers. They talk, if you want your book to be in the curriculum, you do this, 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 and that, right? And also, let's say I write my book and I want to launch it. We support each other. They attend the events, and all that. So we've got authors like Mr. Mzana Mtimkulu, Mr. Nason Twala, Mr. Patisa Nyati, Ms. Esigogo, and so forth, right? Mr. Sicha, there's so many. So this is how it helps. And also, there is a Zimbabwe International Book Fair, which happens every June. We get to showcase our work there, our books there. So it really helps a lot. It really helps a lot. All the workshops, all the meetings, they really help. And you get to grow, you get to learn a lot in your field. So yeah, I would say that's what it's about.
All right. Maybe we move on from ZANA, and then we look at the LCT, Love Child Trust. This trust looked at many different things, especially concerning people, children under vulnerable conditions and so on, stuff like that. What have you done, maybe in terms of your poems, to try and talk about these issues of people that are vulnerable? And then what are the needs that you've witnessed from the vulnerable people that you think maybe at government level or at community level, these are things that you can take and try to deal with as a community?
All right. So this is what I've noticed when I was working with Love Child Trust as a secretary. The children, they are vulnerable. The children, they have a lot of things which they need. For example, a child is to go to school, right? You do not go to school for free. They need their fees to be paid. They need clothes. They need also, they have talents, regardless of their disabilities. You might figure out that they also have certain talents. So they need also platforms provided for them whereby they can showcase their talents. They need people to also come and focus on them, right? Not only to those who are not disabled, right? But we also want people to come also and share knowledge with the disabled. So this is what I would say people have to really focus on, and we help them out. They too have dreams, they too have passions, but they need their confidence built. They need to be inspired so that they too can live their dreams and go and shine in the world and make a difference as well in the world. So this is what I really have noticed.
All right. So you've written about many different subjects, looking at the poems that you have. Maybe if I will pick 2 poems, and then I will allow you to pick the 3rd one that you want to talk about. You have a poem that is called "Got to Play," which also talks about love. Love is a gamble. Love is a jungle.
Yes.
It's used for many metaphors. I think at one point you use a metaphor of death. It's inevitable, like death, and then you talk about how dangerous it is. what inspires this poem? Because, and also the other thing, we have seen like in movies, in life, when you're growing up, life is painted as a beautiful thing. No one prepares you these uncertainties in love. So what inspires you got to play?
Okay. So I've noticed, as I say, as a poet, I'm inspired by so many things. I notice a lot of things with the people that I interact with, what I see. Love is a beautiful thing, like you say. It is very beautiful. But then the problem is people are not given the other side of love, right? It is beautiful, but then it has got the other side, which is bitter, if I can say, right? You cannot avoid it. Love is inevitable. You cannot say, I don't want to fall in love. It just happens. You don't plan like, I'm going out, I want to fall in love. You find yourself falling in love. But now the problem is we think it's sweet throughout, right? But then it is not like that. It is 50-50, right? You either make it in love or you don't make it. So if you get in love with that mentality that we're giving it a go, we're giving it a try, it can work out or it cannot. Because if you do not prepare yourself, this is whereby we have people who are like, who got their heartbreaks in 2010 until 2020, they haven't moved on. They still have that heartbreak because they gave in so much and expected it to work and a lot, and they forgot that to leave a space of disappointment, a little gap that it cannot work. I've seen people in relationships for 2 years or 4 years, and tomorrow here it's over. They broke up, and I'm like, oh my word! After so this is what I've noticed. Fall in love, no, it's beautiful, but it's 50-50, right? You can make it or you cannot make it. So if it does not work out, it doesn't mean that you have to think love is bad. Love, no, it's beautiful. You would not have found the person, and yeah, that's it. And also, I always say, before you love someone, love yourself first. Know your worth first. Because if you cannot love yourself, you are not able to love someone else. This is where we have people who are so obsessed. You're not suffocating someone else's daughter, right? Someone else's son. So love yourself, know your worth, and leave a gap for disappointment. And try also to make it work, right? Work on your commitment, work on your communication, and so forth. So that's what I would say with love.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie Monica.
You're very much welcome. You're very much welcome.
Those out there are listening and taking notes on
yes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you go on and you have a poem, Think Again.
Yes.
What are we thinking again? And who is thinking again? What are you talking about in this?
Okay. On Think Again, I was referring to men. I was like, think again to men. So this is what I've noticed. I've also come across that as well. And I've had other girls saying that, and I've seen it. So it so happens that either it can be at a workplace or it can be in the field of art. Men usually do not want to take what we women come offering, right? If it's at work, I'm offering my working, not my body. If it's about my art and all that, I'm going to the studio, I'm offering my talent, that is singing or writing. But instead of that, they want us to do the body transaction. I can promote you, girl, if you do this for me, if you sleep with me, and so forth. And I'm saying, think again, right? I can use my brains and my hands. This is what I'm offering, not my body. So we've seen a lot of women that they're really good, they deserve the promotion, but they're not promoted. Why? Because they're refusing to offer, right? So the ladder of promotion is now turning to be my body instead of my brains or what I came like for and what I'm offering. And also when it comes to the artwork, there are those producers who can say, I would do this for free for you. You only have to do this. You get it. So I'm like, think again, this is really not good. This is really not good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I hope that people will think again. Because I think I come across many people who talk about being objectified, especially when they're women. People see them for something else instead of their talent they're going to contribute. So I hope that as a society we will see human beings as human beings first before any other thing. Right. The last poem which we're going to talk about is a poem that I also love the poem that you picked, which is Die for Beauty. So I'll ask you to recite this poem, but maybe before you do that, Maybe if you briefly tell us what inspired Die for Beauty, and then you give us the piece.
Okay, what inspired it is what I am really seeing and which is really currently happening. And it's really scaring me and surprising me at the same time. And I don't know, I could say it's also making me angry, if I'm to be honest.
Yeah.
So people are not loving themselves. People are not embracing themselves the way they are created, right? So I'm really surprised um, at the levels which they can go to be beautiful. You know, the thing is they can go. That's why I'm saying die for beauty, because the things which they are doing, yes, you can be beautiful, but you're going to die for it because there are consequences for that. There are disadvantages for that. So that's why I was saying die for beauty, because you can see people are doing the surgeries, people are enhancing this and that. So yeah, that's what the poem is about. So the extent which people are going, all in the name of beautiful, trying to change themselves to look good for so and so, or so that's what the poem is about.
All right. Yeah, maybe if you can give us Die for Beauty.
Okay. So die for beauty. Your blackness ain't a mistake. Your blackness ain't a curse. Your blackness ain't ugly. See, your blackness is God's unique creation. He saw you perfect with that complexion. Umhle, ngobuhle bakho, wakanaka, wakadaro. Who say that only light shade is beauty and black shade ugly? What happened to black beauty? As all are competing to be the so-called yellow bones. It's as if being black is the disease and the medication bleaching. And to my amazement, not only is Eve bleaching, but Adam too. Not only those who are black in complexion bleaching, but the natural yellow bones too. Umhle, ngobuhle bakho, wakanaka, wakadaro. She's great, her black beauty, the African color I always love. She became a dissenting chameleon. To her black men, the absence of beauty. I watched her. Wasting her money buying lightening creams. I watched her. Face light and the rest of the body black, bearing all the injections, befriending the creams, barren results. What a disgusting mess. Appreciate yourself, embrace and be content with your skin color. We are all beauties in our own ways, and loving yourself means being grateful for who you are. Umhle, ngobuhle bakho, wakanaka, wakadaro. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, quite an interesting piece there. I hope people will comment, and let's talk about this bleaching,
Yeah.
butt extensions, and all
Yeah.
sorts. Let's talk about that. What is your definition back at home? What is your definition of beauty? Would you change your complexion to something else? Will you darken yourself? Will you lighten yourself? Will you put yourself in a certain area of your body to try and enhance your beauty? Right. Yeah. So we are all kind of stuck right now as a world because of COVID, and it has affected different people in different ways. How has this affected your craft, your writing? In any way, has COVID-19 and the lockdowns affected you in any way? This can be negative, this can be positive.
What I would say, for me, really, I wouldn't say to a greater extent it has affected me, because maybe if someone wants a hard copy, and cannot get to meet and collect it, then that's a disadvantage because of COVID-19, right? But I would say, to me, I used that time, the lockdown time, to learn something new. Like, as it is, I have a passion in guitar playing, and I'm teaching myself how to play guitar, and I'm trying to fuse it with my poetry, and I got to write a lot. So for me, I've really used that time to do quite good things that can really, add value to my life. So I wouldn't really say it was a major blow. I wouldn't really say that.
All right. Before I let you go, I've forgotten once more piece about your artistry. You also sing. You also sing.
Yes.
Are you working on music at the moment?
Yes, I really am. I have a passion in singing. My voice doesn't really want to cooperate, but I'm really stubborn when it comes to this thing
Yeah.
because before writing came, it was singing. I also started singing when I was young. I started composing. So I'm yet working on it. I really want to give it a go, regardless of my voice. I want people to be the judge of it. So I'm still working on some songs, and I still have many. I have actually quite more than 100 songs that I've composed. So
Ah,
yeah,
all right.
yeah, I'm
Nice,
really
nice. Yeah.
working on it.
And then in terms of your books, when do we expect a book from you?
Very soon. I'm currently working on my sixth book, titled "The Secret and Other Stories," and I'll just say it's 80% done, 20% is left. So very soon it'll be out there, and people can have access on even my previous books on Amazon. They are there.
Ah, all right. Maybe if you can give us links, we'll put the links on the video so that people can
Yes,
go and check out your
I will
videos. Thank you
definitely
so
do
much
it.
for your time, uh,
Thank you
Monica.
very much, Mabuto. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was Earground, and this is King Boaz. I'm out.